All right, we've got Tyler Yaremchuk joining us from Daily Faceoff and Oilers Nation, I believe, live in Montreal. Tyler, we have you. How are you? Where are you? How has your night been, sir?
Good. I'm in the heart of old Montreal. Just finished up our daily face-off live stream with Frank and figured why not come on here and chop it up with you guys for a little bit.
Okay,
Look
so
at that
thoughts on the game.
handsome man all dressed up.
Yeah,
Tyler,
he looks
you look great. Are you having fun out there?
Yeah, it's a blast, honestly. Like just being in downtown Montreal today in the lead up to the game, like my excitement for this really grew kind of when I got to town on, Saturday, Sunday, and then got the first round of player media avails done on Monday. And I was like, whoa, these guys like really want to be here. It's not just lip service. Like you could tell they were dialed in. And then today, seeing all the Canada hockey jerseys and then the crowd pop when they introduced Mario at center ice was bananas. And when that happened, it's like I had chills and it was like, okay, I'm all the way in on this.
I had heard that there was whispers that Lemieux might be there, and I was like, yes, that's the move. I hadn't thought of it, but the moment you mentioned that, you're like, okay, Quebecer, like Mount Rushmore player of all time, is 2.18 points per game, or 2.28, I think it was, before his first retirement, was like beyond Gretzky's, which is insane. Like the only guy that really would have had a shot at Gretzky's numbers was Lemieux. Injuries and all that. You bring him back to Montreal. Now we got a building to play in for this tournament because there's no way any Montrealer with a pulse couldn't get out of their seat and scream when they saw him. And it was like, I had kid hockey tonight. I already told Ryan. I got them getting dressed, poked my head up by a TV. I'm like, oh, Lemieux. Yes, now we got a barn. This game's going to be unreal.
And then even from there, Canada getting a power play as early as they did when there's been so much talk about how deadly that 5-man unit could possibly be. Then they score 12 seconds in and McKinnon's all fired up. And it's like, okay, now we know the atmosphere is here. Like you said, now we know we've seen it for sure. The players are dialed in and they want this. And the excitement of that Canadian group of 5 being like, okay, that works now too. Like we got a team here.
Yeah. Nice to roll out that quintet where it's like, okay, so the guy that's leading the league in scoring, the best player we'll watch in our lives, the best defenseman we'll probably watch in our lives. Oh, and that other guy who's got 3 cups and probably is the top 5 or 6 player of all time. And Sam Reinhart. That's a good group.
Yeah, Sam Reinhart, 50 goal scorer from last year.
Almost, nice.
Like I'm sure John Cooper's sitting there with a big grin on his face, and the Swedish head coach, whose name is escaping our mouth, sitting there going, okay, got to watch that guy. Oh, shit. Oh,
Sam Hallam. Whoa, Blackberry, Sam Lamb. That's his name. I don't know what it is. It's somewhere in the chorus there. Yeah.
But they, again, quite something to see those guys do that. And that play that they did, that little Crosby McDavid over to McKinnon on day 1 of practice, those 5 guys stayed out there and they went and they did that basic exact play for, I want to say, like 3 or 4 minutes, just reps of it. So it's cool to see that as well.
I love that the vibes are good. I think Mario puts it over the top for sure. When you get in the building, then the game happens and you see Canada just absolutely dominate the first. When did you say, okay, we got a game here? Was it the 3-2 goal? Was it like, where are we at here when you're like, hang on now, this isn't over yet?
Yeah, for me, it honestly kind of was that 2-1 goal. Just, I know you can sit here and go, did it deflect off a stick? I don't know. I felt like it wasn't a great goal for Jordan Binnington to give up from the outside there. Decent shot. Like, it's not the end of the world, but I kind of went, oh boy, like, that Binnington, is he going to be rattled now? And then I was sitting there thinking, okay, now you're looking at the shot clock, and Canada hasn't generated a lot here. Like they had something like 27 shot attempts in the first period and 21 in the first period, then only 27 in the final 40 minutes. I was like, okay, Canada's not producing right now. And now it's 2-1 and is Binnington rattled? That's where I started to second guess it a bit. And then when Raquel almost scored on that chance in front and Binnington bounced back with a big save, it was like, okay, I actually think they're good. And then it's 3-3 and you're like, oh my God, the roller coaster of this whole thing. So I definitely rode the waves a little bit, but that 2-1 goal was kind of like, okay, you got to remember Sweden also has a team of maybe not Hall of Famers, although there's more than a few there, but they still got some stars.
Yeah. Lineup changes. It sounds like it's not going to be great news for Shea Theodore. I'm seeing people in the comments. I don't have it confirmed, but I'll put it this way. I don't think I'd be surprised if we hear that Theodore is not available anytime soon. That would put Travis Sanheim into the mix. Would you rotate a forward in? Did you like the forward lines? And are you comfy going right back in net to Jordan Binnington? Or do you say, hey, we got 2 cup winners on the roster. Let's see what Aiden Hill looks like on Saturday.
It's tough because, again, it's the 3-2-1-0 point system. So you didn't get all 3 points tonight. So there still is a lot of pressure on you beating Team USA. My gut tells me go with Binnington. Again, I know the margins are razor thin, but in a short tournament, I want him to get going, and I don't want to diminish that confidence by being like, hey, you're sitting on the bench, and then if we lose, we're going to put you right back in for a must-win against Finland. I loved the first line, obviously. Loved the McDavid, Reinhart, Marner trio. I thought they were good. That third line was probably my favorite line to watch. Brad Marchand had a very, very good game. What I'm getting to is I didn't love the fourth line. On the ice for the 2 goals in the third, Travis Konechny had a couple of just really bonehead plays in the first period that killed momentum. I would go Konechny out for Sam Bennett against the Americans. A little bit more jam and sandpaper down there is what I'd be looking for. So that's the one change I'd make.
Ryan, walk me through the goaltending decision, because Aiden Hill is no slouch. He's won a cup more recently than Binnington. And yeah, you could look at both guys, but it is the Americans as well. And let's say Aiden Hill doesn't have a great night. It puts you in a weird spot where both guys kind of don't feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think I agree with Tyler. I think, you know, Binnington was in kind of a tight game, a pretty wild game at the end of it. He made one more save than the other guy did, and so I think you kind of have to ride your guy at this point. I mean, you know, he was good enough to be the starter for this game, and I think until he plays his way out of that position, I think you kind of got to go with him again.
Yeah, fair. I'd love to see Hill, but once they made Binnington the starter here, it's kind of like, well, made a couple of big saves at the end, and it's a weird game to put someone fresh into. First game of the tournament, and the Americans, they're not favorites, Yaremchuk, but I mean, it's close. I know on Bet365, who's presenting this program before the tournament started, it was Canada plus 140, America plus 150, and jumping into some of the models that were out there in the public space, Canada's very slight edge was only based on having home ice through the round robin, which gets them a better probability of getting into the final. Like they're pretty much, we're talking 51-49, 52-48. Like this isn't a weak Finland team with 3 defenders we didn't think were going to be here that they're facing next game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's part of the reason why, I mean, I tried to put my hockey analyst cap on for my predictions. And I said, I think the Americans are going to win this thing only because, and maybe it is more justified after watching Canada, I don't think Connor Hellebuck gives up 2 of the 3 goals that Jordan Binnington gives up. And if you know the forward group is this close in terms of how they stack up to each other, and you know the D-cores, even without Quinn Hughes, are still pretty close. If the gap in goaltending is, and I know if people are listening on the podcast, it won't make sense, but it's this close, not this close, well, then you got to go with the team who has the bigger edge in the most important position. So, yeah, I mean, nice to have a couple of days off. Frank Seravalli did confirm that Shea Theodore is going to miss the rest of the tournament, by the way. So, obviously a big loss for the Canadians there. But when the margin of error, or when the margin is that thin, I go with the team who has a Hall of Fame goaltender.
Yeah, fair enough. Tyler, thanks so much for your help. Appreciate it. Do us a favor. Have a cold beverage, because if we were in Montreal, we would.
I hear there's at least 1 or 2 good places near Bell Center to get a cold beverage.
Yeah.
I did send our fearless leader and CEO, Jay Downton, on a beer run right before I did this. I said, Jay, I'm doing one more hit. I'm being a good company, man. I need a case of beer when I'm done.
And yeah,
Jay needs to do a little bit of hard work every now and then. That guy's got his life is too easy. You need to put him to work.
Beer run.
Yeah, make him throw on his Uggs and go for a beer run.
First of many. Tyler, thank you. Appreciate it. This was kind of a spontaneous thing that came together late. Tell us about the shows you've got going on for the next 15 days? It's wild. 10 days.
Yeah, it is crazy to think that the final is 7 days away. So I'll be in Boston for the final, but Frank and I live noon Eastern, 10 a.m. Mountain Time every single day, Daily Face Off YouTube. So you can go find that live on location. We got guests coming through and all of that. And not that I'm sure Flames fans want to listen to me talk Oilers, but I'm also doing my Oilers show every day as well. But DFO Live, that's the one you won't want to miss with the big man, Frank Seravalli.
Oilers doesn't ring a bell. Okay. Anyway, thanks for your time, Tyler. Appreciate it. Canada. This McDavid fellow, don't even know where he came from, but he looks like a player. We should look into his right spike, see if he's available.
Yeah, it's fun to cheer for him, right?
It sure is. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Okay, see you guys.
There's Tyler Yaremchuk from the Daily Face-Off crew in Montreal. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And, of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.